What is up, RetroManiacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name's Mike, and I'm from Mike's Retro Trading Cards, and I am joined by the Crockett and Tubbs of the YouTube sports card world, because one of them's Don Johnson, a superstar, and the other one's the other guy that nobody remembers. They, of course, are Joe Day and EP Eric Pahalik. How you doing, guys? You can fight it out among yourselves as to who's Don Johnson and who's the other guy.
I'm fine being the other guy, man.
Michael Thomas is his name. I just want to throw that out.
Wide receiver for the Saints?
Philip Michael Thomas.
Oh, okay.
In case he's watching the podcast, I want him. It's just a bit. Yeah, we're not making fun of you personally, but nobody remembers who you are.
He dropped the Philip and then played for the Saints.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Okay. Now I got it. Now I'm in. Okay, we're good.
Do you guys remember Miami Vice, or are you guys too young?
I remember it some. Yeah, definitely.
Well, you know who created and wrote and directed a lot of the first season?
No.
One of the greatest all-time auteurs of our generation, Michael Mann.
Oh, all right.
Michael Mann of Heat.
Right.
Possibly one of the greatest movies of all time. I mean, Miami Vice, great.
The greatest television show of all time.
And Miami Vice was the greatest movie of all time until Thor: Love and Thunder. Then it got removed from the top spot, obviously.
I think maybe you're not mixing up what greatest is.
I think he knows.
I don't think either of those things are considered greatest.
I'm pretty sure I'm making fun of you in this situation and not knowing what greatest means.
Thor: Love and Thunder is the greatest movie of all time.
Since Citizen Kane, yes. Yeah. Slash EP, yes.
Slash EP. How's it going, boys? What's new and exciting?
I got a bunch of little stuff here at the top I wanted to talk about real quick. I'll try and go through these EP speed. I don't know if that's possible, though. All right, first thing, I'm going to ask you guys your opinion, and I want the viewers to comment down below their opinion. So you see the comic books behind me, right? Mm-hmm. So I've talked about the perfect fit sleeves and damaging PSA slabs and all slabs.
Can I ask you a question quick?
Yes.
Before we get, are they warping? Because
they are not. I have not.
I saw a video recently that said that they're all warping. So
some of them are warping, and I have not noticed that with mine. But you know me, I'm gonna check on a regular basis.
Definitely. Yeah, you would know.
Okay, sorry to interrupt.
Right. No. That's a good question. That's a really good question. So before I realized that these perfect fit sleeves damage slabs, and they do, kids, go check any slabs that you have perfect fit over top of them. They do damage the slabs. They scratch them up and all that stuff. Perfect Fit made comic book sleeves. And of course, I put them in the comic, I use them from the comic books. So they have little scratches on them. It's annoying, but it's not as bad as the side because it's a bigger surface area. You don't see them as bad. But I always said if they came out with a new custom label that made sense for these comic books, I would potentially send them off to be reslabbed. I'm not going to just send them off to be reslabbed. There needs to be an additional reason. Okay.
That's growth. That is personal growth.
I think so. I'm very proud of myself. Yes. So this one, it's the most valuable one. You can't really see it that great here, but is the Silver Surfer #4 famous cover with Thor and Silver Surfer going at it. They have that Thor as a potential label you can get. They also have some really cool like Marvel heroes and Marvel villains labels. So I'm like, okay, I'm thinking about doing it, right? I'm thinking about sending these off, getting them all reslabbed with the custom labels. Ever since CGC had their little people popping books out of slabs and putting crap books in, they've started to get really strict about reslabbing books. It's not like PSA where they're like, oh, this card isn't wildly damaged, that we're just going to put it's a PSA 9. We're going to reslab it in a PSA 9. We're not really even going to look at it. With CGC now, they are scrutinizing books that people are seeing grade drops consistently. They're basically getting regraded. Now, when you press and clean a book, sometimes there's reversion. So my question is, do I take the chance and lose grade bumps on these potential books?
Nope, definitely not.
That's I believe the expression is a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush.
Yeah,
I have no idea what that means, but it fits here, I believe.
It does fit. And I think personal growth, I think I'm agreeing with that. I'm like, you know what? The comic books look great. No one can tell there's little scratches on them, except for me, which is the problem. But yes, I think I am going. And plus, it's the new slabs. They're not new, but that's the ones that are seeing a little bit of the bowing too. So I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it is at this point.
No. And I also feel like, for me anyway, like I feel those comics are probably relatively rare. Like you're not going to be able to acquire them again. And so to send them off, anytime you're taking chances, you take a chance every time you send that stuff all away to get it graded. You're talking about doing it a second time, which increases your amount of risk in that regard too. So, and they look great from here anyway. They look great, and they're like, it looks like the grades are probably pretty. You're probably pretty happy with those grades that are on there. So,
Mike, you remember the reveal when these came back? I was losing my mind how good the grades came back.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So I wouldn't mess with it.
I'm worried they're all going to drop a half a grade, and I think you're right. A bird in the hand worth two in the bush, or whatever is the expression. So that was the first. If you disagree with that general statement, comment below and tell me why I should reslap them. All right, couple more quick things. One more. Thank you to Mike Jones. We had a trade at the card show, and he traded me this Doctor Strange Funko Pop coffee mug, which I am using now as my coffee mug. I don't know how often I'll use it because it's one of those weird, like huge.
Gigantic.
It is.
Looks like you're having a little trouble lifting it.
It's not light.
It's like a soup bowl.
It really is like a soup bowl. I might start using it for soup. But I will say, if I had the technology wherewithal to do this, when I saw the coffee pouring in from my Keurig to his skull, I wish I could take that video and put the sounds he was making when he was getting the glass shoved into his eye in Infinity War, because come on, that'd be freaking hilarious.
You could totally
we need to figure that out.
We can make that a short.
That'd be fantastic. All right, two more other quick things. Got a pack of soccer cards.
Here we go.
Dave and Adam sent this to me when I bought that box of no, I almost said Fleer Ultra Metal. That is not correct. Metal Avengers. When I bought that box, ripped on the channel. Watch that, please. And they sent me this. Now, I was going to get a big league pack, but I didn't want to ruin my streak of autos from big league. So I'm like, I'm going to open up a pack of soccer cards.
So what's a win? Would it be like an auto or a 1-on-1? Like is that a win? And you don't open it anymore? What's your win? What's your win?
Well, I'm not opening up any more.
No, I mean for this pack. What is what's the win criteria?
I need to get a numbered
No,
parallel or an auto.
Okay.
An auto? Okay. All right. So there's I don't know who any of these people are, so if anyone knows, but it's not an auto. Also not an auto, but a refractor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Again, have no idea who this is. Also not an auto. There it goes. There goes the streak. I'm never opening up packs again from Topps. I'm done with packs from Topps.
Streak is over.
The streak is dead. I should have gotten that pack of Big League. All right. Last thing.
What's that smirk about? I can't wait.
Who did this? Who sent me this book?
Wow.
Who did it?
Oh,
Who
my goodness.
effing did it?
Wow.
All right. I need to know who did it. I have some ideas, but it wasn't you two.
Wow.
It wasn't you
No,
two.
it was not.
No, it was not. No. I wish I thought of it.
I do too. Yes, that is high level right there.
Let the audio listeners know what you're looking at. What you're showing us.
This is sports card collecting and investing for dummies of the For Dummies series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Forward by Geoff Wilson. That's why I have some ideas who it might be. I think little Geoff Wilson might have sent this to me. You know what I mean?
We love little Jeff.
I got a notification. You guys signed up for UPS notifications, like if something is being sent to you. I got this notification. I was getting something from Target. I'm like, did someone steal my identity? I'm like, what am I getting from Target? I didn't order retail in the middle of the night in a drunken stupor. I'm like, what could this be? So it comes in. I'm like, this feels like a book. I open it up and it's this. Again, sports card collecting and investing.
I love it.
For dummies. I'm not. I'll probably read
You-
at
you
least
need
Geoff
to-
Wilson's forward.
I
I
need to
don't
read that and do a review for the show.
I don't read books. So EP, I'm going to send this to you. You read it and record it, and I'll
Alright.
listen to it, audio book it. But
The
yeah,
great thing would be it would only take like 5 minutes to hear EP.
yeah, the way EP does, and I put it on 2 speed, and I went like they got some like stuff in here. Like that's a
that's cool.
Giannis rookie in there. Look at that. I mean, yeah. So whoever, show yourself. I need to know who did this.
Also, whoever it is, thank you so much.
Yes, that is fantastic.
Yeah.
Boy.
I really do appreciate that. And then the final thing, I don't know how you follow that up, but
I thought that was the final thing.
it was, but then I remembered I had one more thing.
Okay.
It's getting chilly out there. Have you boys noticed?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's getting chilly. I was taking Bailey for a walk and I stepped outside and I'm like, whoo, it's a little chilly. Guess what I did? I threw on a Mike's Retro Trading Cards hoodie sweatshirt.
We make those.
We
Where did you get
have
that?
those available.
Those.
I
Where?
went to the link below and I got
Down
to
here.
Right below EP.
3XL. Right below EP. They come all the way up to a 3X, maybe even a 4X. I don't know.
No, they go
Definitely a 3X.
even higher than that. I think
They
you
go
get
even
like
higher than
5,
that.
6, 7. Yeah.
It was nice. It was like being embraced by a blanket. It felt so good. And I walk Bailey even longer. So your dogs will live a healthier life when you walk them in the winter, if you have, or in the fall, a Mike's Retro Trading Cards sweatshirt. So go down below. Get one. I mean,
And
why not?
How was the?
while you're
fit? How
there,
was the-
get yourself a t-shirt to wear under it. because
Underneath.
You can't
That's
wear
what
the
I was
hoodie
wearing.
with
Right.
no shirt.
I
You
was
have to
wearing
have
the t-shirt.
you need the full
Yeah.
uniform. You can't just have half the uniform. Right?
Uniform. Yep,
Right.
absolutely.
How was
Absolutely.
the fit on that sweatshirt? How did it fit?
It
Feel pretty good?
It fit.
Nice.
I mean, it's a 3X, so
Right. But I mean,
you know,
yeah.
it barely fit because I'm fat, but no, it did fit. It fit very well. It was very comfortable. So yeah, size appropriate, everyone. But
Nice.
I'm like a 2.5X if I was going to be honest. So a 3X hoodie, perfect.
Nice.
Perfect. So there you go. That's all I
Fantastic.
have. I know it's a lot of
Okay.
stuff, but I needed to get it all out there because some of that stuff has been waiting for weeks.
Well, that was a good
So.
chat, and we will see you. Oh wait, no, it's not time for that yet, is it? Just feels like it.
Mhm.
How's it going, EP? Do you have anything to talk
It's
about?
going great. I do, but it's not nearly as in depth as that. I first want to
Uh,
crack open a beverage. In my 3 Floyds beer
Very
holder.
nice.
So I'm gonna crack that open, but I'm gonna say, so I got burned. I ended up getting these boxes over here. You can see them, the three boxes. And I bid on stuff, and then I find out the prices, and then I end up winning the things. So my
How it
degeneracy,
works.
yeah, my hobby degeneracy went from that this past week to going on ComC and searching like Derek Jeter, and then buying all of the cool base cards and or like minor inserts that are like listed for 25 cents, 30 cents. So that I'm doing that instead. I have like $25 on my ComC account from.
I know a
my
place you
buying
could have
stuff.
gone that you could have saved some money on.
Save it for your section, Mike.
right. So that's it. Just I was on ComC. It's a fun little just taking a little stroll on there, searching for certain players and just finding some cool cards.
Did you go after
Dangerous.
Jeters because you sold that refractor to Card Show Kevin? Was that part of it?
No, I know. It's just
Okay.
I was thinking of players who I could probably sell in my at card shows and stuff like that. So if I get in with a couple extra ones, if I find like 3 cool cards that are 20 cents each, I'll buy all 3 of them, relist one of them, and maybe have them send a couple to me. So
Wow. It's a dangerous thing, though,
it is.
being
is,
on
yeah.
any of those.
Mhm.
I would know. Let me tell you.
Tell us about it.
Well, not just about my experience. I have a much bigger. I had an epiphany, and I don't very often have epiphanies because I'm old and I just don't care enough to have epiphanies anymore.
Yeah.
But I did. We talk a lot on this show about game used jerseys and how they're not worth anything, and like how ridiculous that is, the stuff from the 90s and early 2000s. Like, how is that so? And we talk a lot about Panini and how terrible Panini is for the hobby, all the crap they've done with all these parallels and all just over and over, the abundance of parallels. Well, I think that I am no longer going to place the blame on Panini. I have
He's going to quit this show.
now that doesn't mean there aren't a lot of things that you should blame Panini for. But where Panini is and how they manufacture cards and all the different parallels and stuff they have in there, I'm not blaming Panini for that. And also, I understand why the game use stuff is worthless. So I'll start with the game use stuff because the Panini thing is a little bigger, but I have been sourcing cards for my upcoming Football Mania stack sale that I'm going to have on Twitter. I have a huge collection of cards, but
Twitter?
What?
Twitter?
X?
There we go. Yeah.
Take your pick. I call it one or the other. Depends on my
Depending on the week.
But I actually sat down and I went to Trading Card Database and I typed in 1992 football, hit click, and then went through every single set. And I did that for every single year up to 2006.
Mike, are you okay?
I went through all the sets.
Okay?
I looked, if I saw an insert set, I wasn't sure what it was. I clicked on it to look at the card to see what it was. When I got to the early 2000s, everything that was being put out by most of the companies was game used jersey cards, especially Fleer. Fleer was the biggest problem with this. They had literally sets that the only inserts you got out of them were game used jersey cards. And Playoff was really bad with it too. They had a lot of them. And every year after year after year, Upper Deck did it. Topps didn't do it as much, but there were jersey cards in Topps Chrome. You know, most of the 90s, there weren't anything jersey, like it was just the refractors. That's what Topps Chrome was about. But in the early 2000s, they even added jerseys. Bowman Chrome had it. Bowman's Best had it.
I don't even remember that. Yeah, that's wild.
They're cool looking cards. Don't get me wrong. But every company, and especially Fleer would have like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 different game used jersey or other item insert sets. So as I was looking through that and going year by year and set by set, it kind of dawned on me that these aren't worth as much because they made so many of them, which, you know, here we are 20 plus years later is easy to kind of forget. But if you go back and look at the sets and what they had in them, like it kind of blows your mind. Like I was really getting sick of seeing all the Fleer jersey inserts, and they had all these weird 1-off or 2-off sets that they only had for a couple years. Yeah.
Ticket stubs with the jersey in them that were like, I can't do it. Like cards like this, and you'd open them up and there'd be a little piece of jersey.
Fleer Genuine, that was another one that was all jersey. But yeah, Fleer was really bad with it. Upper Deck was pretty bad too. But
well, there were the innovators, right? Of it.
Yeah.
At least them I can almost pass because they created the idea. Fleer was just hopping on and just running with it, it sounds like.
Yeah, the early 2000s, though, they produced tons of that stuff. So, but here's the big thing. I don't blame Panini anymore, because I feel like if Panini never came into the equation, we would still be right where we are now, because the real culprits are all the employees that worked for Don Russ and Playoff that Panini bought in 2009 or whatever. I think it was 2009. Though the groundwork for what we have today was laid by Don Russ and Playoff in the early 2000s. They started numbering like all these insert sets, and then they started doing different color levels for them. And year after year after year in the early 2000s, that was what they did. And you could start to see a little bit more every year. Oh, there's another set here that has that to it. So while they weren't all base parallels, they did start the different color chasing and the different numbers at the different color chasing
and the different
way
leveling.
Yeah,
the different leveling. Don Russ preferred QBC. Remember, it had the bronze. It was in the same base set: bronze, silver, gold, and blue, I think, or something like that.
And there was a die cut variation.
Does
Yeah.
that sound like Select to anyone else?
Yeah.
Like current Prism Select or Panini Select? I mean, that's pretty much the same exact thing.
So yeah, I mean, it was, again, if you look at trading card database and you just search football for a year and you look at all the sets and all the inserts, because they list, they'll show you the set and then all the inserts that came under it individually. And like, it's crazy. They had so much of that. And it just really dawned on me that this is what it is today, just at a little lower level. But they bought Donruss Playoff. The Panini was Donruss Playoff. They were pretty much the same employees that were there. So all this stuff that's here today comes out of what those people thought the hobby should be and what they started to do over 20 years ago. And I really feel like if there was no Panini, if it was still Donruss Playoff, we'd still have Prism cards or something similar with all the different levels, because like, that's just let's add one per year, and then 20 years later you have 20 more sets.
But you know why you didn't notice? You know why you didn't notice back then? Because there were so many companies doing it. Like there were so many options out there that these couple of companies are numbering everything, they're doing different level. Well, it doesn't matter, I'll go to this company. Then when Panini just kind of took over bought everything, and everyone left the market and it was just Panini, the microscope was on them, and it's like, look what you're doing. It's bad for the hobby, because there were no other options for people to go to. Kind of similar to where we're going to be at in a year, right? I mean, no one's going to be able to, Topps isn't going to be able to say, look over there, because they're it. This is it. And, it's a good point. It's an interesting point.
The thing is, we're kind of in the minority here. I feel like part of the blame, maybe even 50% of the blame, is also on us. It's on the hobbyists. Back in like 1989, 1991, we're the ones that we were buying all the overproduced cards. In the 2000s, we were buying all of in the 90s, we were buying all the cards that had all of the inserts in them. And we talk about how awesome the inserts were, but there were a lot of inserts in 1990s cards. Like some sets would have like 10 different insert sets in them. And then in the 2000s, then all of a sudden it's the game worn jerseys. We're buying it up. We're loving that. And now everybody's buying up all the parallels, and that's what's driving them making more parallels, because everybody's excited about getting their moleskin whatever parallel. So I feel like I feel like they're like, we're at least partially to blame. And then I just want to stop by saying, Mike, I have gone to trading card database by year by football, like for 1 year, and gone through, because I was trying to remember. I know that there was this insert set or whatever. There's this card, like, going through it. And for you to do it for that long of a period, for that long of a stretch of years, thank you for your service, my friend. I understand what that was like, because that's insane, dude.
Unrelated story. Amy has moved out, and totally unrelated.
I don't even remember her.
This is Amy woman you speak of.
Oh, I was married. What? And part of it started to remember those seek and deploy that was like shaped like a bomb that I told you, it was die cut like a bomb.
Yeah.
I could not remember what the name of that set was, and I thought it was a Fleer Ultra product, and it wasn't, and I couldn't find them, and I kept looking and looking.
Did you end up finding them?
I did eventually find them, but I went through every year.
Do you remember what they were?
Fleer Genuine. It's one of those like weird Fleer brands.
That only lasted for a couple of years. Okay.
But like it's amazing too at the time, seeing how Donruss Playoff was the company that went to serial numbered cards, when all the other companies, like I said, Fleer, everything was game used jersey. And Donruss, like, they're like, okay, we're numbering our stuff, and like the numbers that they put out got lower and lower. And here we are 20 some years later, that obviously won out, but you could see it. They were doing something actually different at the time by doing the numbers stuff. Yeah, they had game jersey stuff, but it was usually, you would have an insert and it would have like the base level would be maybe 1,000, or some would be, the easier ones were 2,000. Then it'd be like a colored level that was 750 and a colored level that was 500. But then they'd have like the top level would be a jersey one that was even lower numbered. So they did have jersey, but it wasn't just, okay, everything here is a jersey. Like I didn't really look up prices, but I'm assuming that those cards that have jerseys in them are worth quite a bit more than the stuff you were pulling out.
And jerseys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were tougher to get. They're lower numbered. So, yeah, you can see it, though. It was kind of eye-opening to me that the stuff we complain about, you could see the birth of it just looking through the sets on Trading Card Database.
It was probably a really cool, like watching the hobby evolve as we're doing that. Like it's probably kind of cool in some ways. I mean, obviously terrible in some ways too. But
you're in 1992 and you're like, oh, there's 1 or 2 pages to go through. You get to 2000, like Jesus H, there's like 25 pages I need to go through.
I think there were like 16 or so pages by like 2004.
Yeah, that's not true. I knew the jersey thing. I remember the set that kind of like. I remember stepping back and thinking, oh, wow, they're really leaning into this jersey thing was Black Diamond. You guys remember 2000 Black Diamond?
Mm-hmm.
Where the rookies, like the good rookies, had jersey cards as part of the rookies. Like SPX did the same thing. Like the top end jerseys, they were part of the set. Once jersey cards stopped being inserts and being part of sets, that's not like, oh, this jersey thing might be a little much. I mean, it was permeating the hobby at that point.
Bowman, I think it was Bowman Chrome football, either Bowman Chrome or Bowman's Best by the early 2000s had levels that some were autographed, I believe, that were part of the regular set.
Jeez.
So they had regular cards, then jersey cards, then autographs, and I believe they were all part of the set. Yeah, it really, for somebody, I don't remember everything from the shop, so for me to look at that stuff, it like was really eye-opening. It might be more so to me than like the normal person because I lived this. I had these.
I was gonna say you were in it.
Yeah, right. But I don't remember them all. But then I see it, and then like, oh yeah, now I remember that.
Right.
But to see my whole history of when I had my shop, like broken down on Trading Card Database, and just seeing how the trends of the hobby changed from when I opened to when I closed was just kind of
that is wild.
It was an epiphany.
Again, epiphany, if you will.
Again, thank you for your service. Are you having any PTSD right now? You have any flashbacks to back?
No, I'm wishing there were more years that I needed to go through because I had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like I'm the same way, and I know EP is too. Once you get like your teeth into a project, like you really want to like
do it,
flesh it out. Yeah, I'm the same. We're the same way.
Oh, all right. Well, let's get into the real stuff this week. Boy, so this is an interesting situation. Fanatics Collect canceled a 7-day auction that ended because the card. It was a 7-day auction that had already ended, and they canceled it because, in their words, the card was not properly displayed. Now, I'm going to share on the screen here a picture of the card. I mean, that's kind of funny, isn't it? So clearly, when the scan was made, somebody goofed up. So this was for a 2021 Jordan Lawler Bowman Chrome Draft Black Refractor Rookie Auto numbered to 75. Whew, that was a lot. You can clearly see it was a PSA 10. You can see the card. You can see the number. You can see the auto. You can't really see that. You can see some fingers there. I mean, first of all, it's kind of amazing they did that and nobody seemed to notice. Like, where
does somebody not report that?
People,
right?
Like,
to report that to somebody, say, hey, listen, you can't. This person can't do this.
Well, probably because people want to try to get a deal on the card, and the person who won did get a deal on the card. I'm not really sure how I feel about this, though. Do you think he got a deal because of the picture, or with the listing and the title and that picture that was provided? Was that enough to know what the card really was? Like I kind of go back and forth. I feel like, first of all, they should have noticed this and it should have been caught and it should have been ended. Like the auction should have been stopped before it was over. Like I think waiting until there was a winning bidder that was expecting to get the card, then canceling it wasn't the right move. I feel like if you can't catch it in 7 days, maybe not after, like once you have somebody who's supposed to be a buyer. But it is a pretty big screw up. There's a lot you can't see there, but then you can kind of see other stuff. You go first, DP, because Joe has a lot he wants to say.
I was just gonna say for the audio listeners, I mean the card is like there are fingers across like half the card, obscuring almost half the card.
Yeah,
like you can see some of the words in the label. You can't see the player's face. You can't see most of the player. You can see the number, and you can see the autograph, like the serial number and the autograph. But
you can see his name, his autograph, and the serial number. Yeah.
Right, but most of the card, a lot of the card, half the card, and almost all the label is obscured by fingers. Which so I'm guessing we've all had photos like that we've seen, and so I need to retake this photo, but I've never had one where I actually made it into onto any of my listings. So anyhow, my thoughts on the sale. I feel like if I'm the potential buyer, I am not bidding on that. I'm staying away from it because I don't trust that it is what they say it is behind the card. Like if they, change the photo, put a better.
It's pretty obvious though, isn't it? There's enough there to know that that's the right card.
But is it a PSA 10 or is it a PSA 7 that they're? I mean, oh no, it's definitely a PSA 10. But I mean, I wouldn't trust. I wouldn't trust a photo like that just because I wouldn't trust the listing because of that photo for me. And I do understand where somebody might think, oh, I can get a good deal on this if it is exactly what it is, and then I can return it if it's not. But I'm not sure. So anyhow, there we go.
Joe, what about you?
I have no comment. No.
Okay.
Nah, let's move on. Move on to the next. Sorry. Yeah, I have plenty to say. Okay. All right.
I figured.
All right. Number one, what should have happened here and did not is they should have let the sale go through, and they should have recouped the value of the card, what it was going to sell for if the picture did not cause this issue. They, Fanatics, should have made right by the seller that they screwed over. They should not have canceled the sale. It makes you look worse doing that. Like, whoa, our bad. We screwed up. The buyer, hey, you keep this great deal you got. Again, I don't know baseball, so I don't know how great of a deal it was, whatever. But I'm just saying, you in your mind as the buyer think you got a great deal. You keep that. We're going to figure out what the actual value of this card should have been and give that amount to the seller. That's what should have happened. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it should happen.
Yeah, and if you can spend the money that you paid Tom Brady to be at Fanatics Fest, I feel like you could probably eat that little bit of money.
Yeah, exactly. So, and if it happens now, I'm glad for the seller and the buyer if it happens now. But this is the constant theme we've seen with Fanatics. They never do the right thing on their own. They do the right thing when people say, you should do the right thing. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what we blame all these other companies for doing, but we give them way more shit for it. We give way more shit to Beckett, to Panini, to all these other companies that screw up and then try to make it right on the back end. SGC is maybe the only one we've seen do it right on the front end before they got quote unquote caught. I mean, so it's absolutely ridiculous. The other thing, how does this picture get through?
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
So I've made the comparison to McDonald's or Walmart, McDonald's to PSA. Like it's just like churning stuff out, just go. Fanatics is the same thing. It's like a line of cheeseburgers getting made with the squeezed bottle of ketchup and mustard, just going through the assembly line to the point where before the scan even finished, his hand's still on the card. Like, slow it the F down, people. Like, make sure that card, you have no quality control. I mean, I've seen some of your products come out. Obviously, you don't. But, like, you have no quality control that no one's going to look at this. That's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm going to put a little blame on the seller. If I was going through Fanatics, which it's sad that you have to say this at all, but if I was going through Fanatics Collect and selling one of my cards, I'd be looking at the listing.
We don't know. Maybe they did.
Maybe he did.
We don't know.
Maybe he did.
He may have emailed them, and
that makes it even worse. If he emailed them and they didn't change the picture, that's even worse. But I'll tell you what, you step back then and think, why should the seller have to do that? This is the biggest company in the hobby right now. They shouldn't be responsible to email Fanatics and say, hey guys, that card that I'm consigning with you, that you're getting all these people to shill for this service. Oh, consign through us, through Fanatics Collect, consign. You can't get this picture right? Absolutely ridiculous. And I'll tell you what, strap in, because they've strapped on and they're going to give it to us for the next 25 years. Be prepared.
It's a new service. You as somebody who's I've been a part of a number of new launches.
It's not a new service. That's
for them.
PWCC. Like,
is it? Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
it's WCC, but
it's a new name, but it's not a new service.
So I mean, has this ever happened for any PWCC things before? Like even still, it's new for Topps Fanatics. They should have somebody like looking at that, monitoring it, and saying, "Well, okay, we can't have this in our launch window. We can't be having these kinds of f-ups." That I agree 100% with that.
The email that they sent to the person too was like just kind of, oh, by the way, we're doing, like, it was very just dismissive and very short, and like that would have irritated me as the buyer. But it's just like, it's almost like you're talking about a company that would make like Jalen Hurts jerseys with crooked numbers on it or something like that, because they're just trying to throw this stuff out. Like,
or baseball uniforms that you can see
through the pants. Exactly.
All the time. Like
this company has a history of not being good and fixing stuff afterward. Like, you sent out jerseys with crooked numbers on it. Somebody saw that and decided, oh, that's fine. And just like this, somebody saw that scan. There was somebody listing that card, a real human being that decided to put it up on there and saw that picture and was like, that's good enough. That's the problem. Like, that is the problem. And Joe, you're 100% correct that they're apologetic and they fix the problem afterward when people are pointing it out and saying bad things about them. But they need to start doing this before it happens. Like, you also had 7 days to realize that picture had 2 fingers crossing the card.
They should have canceled it day 1 or 2 at the latest, and then restart it. Apologize to the bidders, but it wasn't that far along in the process. Everyone knows you generally see most bids towards the end, and it wouldn't have been an issue. I don't think anyone would say anything if they would have canceled that 2 days into it. It kind of reminds me of them, after the fact, trying to like retcon the whole thing. I interviewed to be an RA 20 some odd years ago back at Pitt, right? And the residential director said to me, goes, define integrity, which is a really weird question to answer during an interview, but I've been asked that twice now in 2 different interviews. And my answer was, just off the top of my head, because I'm a quick thinker like that, doing the right thing when no one else is watching. That's integrity. They don't do that. They only do the right thing when people are like, you just did the wrong thing. Oh, no, we're going to fix it. Don't worry. We'll do the right thing. Really? And this has been going on since they took over. Remember when they forgot rookie cards in a baseball product? Are you kidding me? I feel like every other week, it might be every week at this point, every other week, we're pointing to something that Fanatics did and they screwed up. And everyone's are people no, they're going to keep shilling for their crap products, which we'll talk about later. They'll keep shilling for those crap products. It's mind blowing.
I think there are two things going on here. One is obviously they have done this a number of times and gotten away with it probably a number of times. And so it's just easier just to not worry about it and just to let it go. Let it
a week from now, no one's going to talk about it.
Right.
A week from now, people are going to keep buying their crap products.
Yep. There's going to be all right. And that's the other thing. Like, I mean, they're going to keep putting out the products. People are going to keep buying them. Like, that's the bottom line is
people are still going to use Fanatics Collect.
Could you imagine like what it would take for people to not buy their products or not use their services? Like, what would it take? Do you guys think it would take something like outrageous? Like, I can't even think of anything that would be so bad that they couldn't do it. They've done so many things already that are not great. Like, could you just imagine what it would take for people to not use their service?
That's a great line, but I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get political here. But I'll tell you boys afterwards. But like, people have been buying Panini for years. They complain every time they rip open a pack, but they keep buying it. Do you think that's going to change when Fanatics officially takes over? No,
I think it'll get worse.
It could get worse. Yeah, for sure. And you're right, EP. How much would people need to get pushed to stop buying this stuff? And I think our answer is it would take an earth-shattering event And even in that point, someone's going to be like, well, after the Surf Shattering event, I can probably get the product a little bit cheaper now. Like, and then resell it. And then resell it. Like,
you're totally right.
Yeah.
Like, just imagine they've had all these issues now. Imagine what it's going to be like when they're printing 3 times as many cards as they are now.
Yeah,
we're going to have to go to like a 3-hour podcast probably once they take over all the licenses, just to talk about what they forgot to put in what.
Or just one podcast on a separate tops. What did the Tops Fanatics do this week?
Yeah, we could do. Yeah.
Right?
What they do in
the,
football. What
the
they do
weekly
in
B
basketball.
show from now. The weekly Wednesday show will just be the Fanatics wrap up of the week.
All right. Well, we talked a little while ago about the PSA vending machine in Las Vegas. It was interesting. We've heard that it was kind of crap, but now there is a virtual PSA Repack vending machine. You can go to courtyard.io. Yes, go ahead. Go do it. Go blow your money. I don't care what you do.
Open a new tab though. Don't go right from here.
Well, you got to keep. You can let us keep playing while you're there.
Yeah,
but they have different vending machines for football, baseball, basketball, and Pokemon. Cost you now. Keep in mind this is virtual, but there's a real card. So I don't know how this works. I don't know if there's somebody there pulling. I don't know. It's a virtual vending machine.
You push a button here. Somebody pulls a lever over there.
Branded just like the other one. You spend $50 and you get a virtual card that has a physical copy, and the physical copy will go to the Brinks vault. Yes, the Brinks company, the ones where you see all the armored cars. They have a card vault too. Why do we not have one yet? Everybody has a vault.
I have a little gun safe in my closet here. Maybe we can just use that.
That's Joe's vault.
Send me your cards. I'll put them in my vault. My vault.
Oh, Brinks has a vault. So with these, they are offering for a limited time. You can actually sell your card back to the company. Right now, they're paying 90% of the value. I think the regular value was either 70 or 75%. So for $50, you can get a card, then you can sell it back to them for 90% for now and 70% after that's over. You have, they gave, at least with these, they give you your percentages. You have a 27.5% chance of pulling a card that will be worth more than the $50, or at least what the $50 you put into it was. So now we have a system where there's a repack that's virtual, although there is a physical card to match the virtual, but you can just sell it back to them. They're like, it's not gambling though. It is not gambling. I don't even know what to say about this.
What are we doing? What are we doing? So, okay. Someone, by the way, I love to go to the casino. I haven't in years, but I love going to the casino. Okay. I love playing blackjack. I go with my buddy who loves to play the slots. And he'll go over and he'll hit the button. I guess there's not a pool tab anymore, but he'll hit the button. And I often say to him, please tell me you never play online slots. Because at least when you're in the casino, there's a chance. Online slots, there's not. Let's just be fair. So that's bad in and of itself, that there's this virtual repack. Yeah, I'm sure it's all random. I'm sure they're not just pulling cards as they see fit for whoever pulls that. Secondly, the buyback thing is the best. I guarantee you they have 10 total cards in this whole repack thing. And they keep recycling them.
Everybody's just going to sell them back.
Everyone's going to sell them back. So they're making, on $100 card, they're making $10 every time they get sold back to them. And at least worth your $50. Well, sure, if it is, but no one wants a $50 card. They're not going in there for a $50 card. They're going in there to get the big hit, whatever it might be. That fake Charizard, perhaps.
$400 plus is what it's
$400 plus. They're going in for that. So they're going to spend the $50 to get that $400. If they don't, if they get a $50 card or a $60 card, chances are they're just going to sell it back. So they're just churning these cards. It's probably, again, like I said, the same 10 cards just being spun around.
Mm-hmm.
Because how would you know? Like, how would you know?
It makes it a lot more like a slot machine. Like but you're selling the card back to the
as gross
dealer.
as gross as I felt about the previous story with Fanatics, like this company's like, hold my beer. Let's be a little bit grosser here in the hobby. It's just so ridiculous.
You make great points. Like I'm not gonna. I don't want to parrot everything that has been said, but I will say because they're all great points. But I will say that this story, this thing summarizes this hobby right now so perfectly. It is ridiculous.
Yep.
We've got this company that is creating this thing that allows them to buy to people to sell back their thing at less than what it's actually worth, so then they can again sell it to somebody else who will then sell it again to somebody else. We got the hobbyists with their itch going up and they're pushing a button. They're I'm gonna get one this time. I'm gonna get one this time. I'll sell this one back. Sell this one back. Sell this one back. And that is. I'm not saying we're like this, but I'm saying so much of our hobby is like this right now. So especially on the high end of this hobby is like this right now, and so it encapsulates what's happening.
You forgot one big component.
What's that?
The grading. Like,
they're already graded.
These cards are graded. That is
yep.
the other big component that encapsulates the hobby. The gambling, the grading, all of it just thrown into one virtual spin of the wheel. It's wild. It is wild. Please don't do it. Please. Our viewers are too smart.
My issue is, though, why is PSA licensing its name for this?
Oh, yeah.
Why? What benefit is it to you other than making a little bit of money on that? But, I don't know that we'll ever get a chance to interview Nat Turner, but somebody go to comments on other people's videos, he does a lot of interviews. Have somebody ask him, why are you doing the branding on these Repack vending machines? What is the benefit? Repacks are a very, very, I don't know. Some people love them, but they're the bane of this hobby right now. Like they allow people to get away with a lot of kind of stuff. Like, again, how do I know that virtual card that I bought on there is even real? How do I know? I don't even know that that's real. Why is the PSA name? Because for all the issues a lot of the big companies have, PSA, the whole shutdown thing and everything happened, but that was a time in the hobby where it was a very special event. I think PSA overall does a great job, and they seem to keep themselves out of the mess that some of these other bigger companies get into. And I do think Nat Turner cares about card collecting in the hobby and stuff. Different, like if you take Michael Rubin and you take Nat Turner is the guy I want to have dinner with.
I think I've made that point before. He's an actual hobbyist. It's nice to have an actual hobbyist in charge of one of these companies. Same thing with Peter with SGC. And Michael Rubin will never be that. He won't, guys. He's not. He never will be. He just likes to hang out with rich, powerful people.
There goes my tops allocation.
Way to go, that's what people care about. But you're exactly right. That's why people don't say shit about him. Because,
but yeah, I don't know why PSA is involved with this, but that's courtyard.io. Please go there right now. Buy it if you want to. I'm sure our viewers are rushing out to go to courtyard.io. We're not even being paid for it. I just think it's funny. But actually, if you did do it, go ahead. Tell us in the comments. Let us know what you got out of it. And let us know if it's actually a real card.
Yeah.
It could. I don't know.
And how many did you sell back before you actually got pick the card you wanted?
Right. Exactly.
Oh, brother. Well, speaking of cards and making money off cards, did you see Geoff Wilson is taking a victory lap? He released a video. In it, he says that, I get made fun of for some of my investment choices. Yeah, look at that book right there.
There Forward by Geoff Wilson.
But he has made $144,000 profit on his 84 Star Jordan. So I'll give him a big round of applause here. That is a big win. What? Oh, wait, he didn't actually sell his card? Wait,
what?
Hold on.
Breaking news.
I'm. Oh, okay. Oh, somebody else sold their card for $144,000 more than what Geoff did, and he's making videos saying he had a profit. Okay. The actual story is Geoff didn't sell his card. Somebody else sold their card that is the same grade as his for $144,000 more than what Geoff paid for his card. So that's still a profit, right? Like,
it's a virtual profit. I get it now.
Virtual profit.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Geoff is taking a victory lap because one of the cards sold at an appreciated value, but he did not sell his, but he's calling it profit. Geoff, it's not realized profit until you actually sell it and have the money. That's just, I mean, if you're an entrepreneur like he is, you should know that. But I mean, I do understand his excitement. Does he even have the card though? I feel there's been some talk that he didn't even have the card. I don't know if somebody that sold it to him left it in their PSA set registry or something, but his cert number is in somebody else's PSA set registry. So
those set registries just really killing everyone, aren't they?
Yeah, big time.
Even in Star Trek. Watch my video, by the way, that we dropped yesterday, Sunday, about some Star Trek cards. But yeah, this is not real profit. Stop saying it is. And if you're going to use this as real profit, please then show some of the losses, realized or not, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you can show a fake profit, let's show some fake losses or even realized losses. I hate the people in this hobby who only show you the wins.
And take a victory lap and make a video victory lap for a card you didn't even sell yet.
Yeah, it's gotten so bad they're taking wins that aren't even wins.
Yes.
Right. It's a moral victory, EP. Moral victory. Oh my God. So gross. Oh, he's gross.
So I mean, you have to, like, if you actually have that card, you sell it right now, right? If you can make 100.
No, because one idiot already paid that much for it. There's not two out there, are there? That's the problem. You need a second idiot. And I don't know. Like, that's a legit issue though. I'm being serious about this. Just because one person paid $144,000 more than Geoff's card cost him, that doesn't mean there's a second person that would do that. So yeah, you can, in your mind, oh, if I got to that guy first, I would have made almost 150,000. You didn't. So let's see you sell it to someone else and see if you make that $150,000 profit.
And it is a card that's appreciating in value, and it is a good purchase. When I had my shop, the star cards were Jordan's best rookie. So now that they're being authenticated by PSA, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that because those cards are way more limited, they're going to be worth way more than the 86 Fleer over time. It just makes common sense. But like, I just don't understand the whole need for doing this. Like, you're right, Joe. He doesn't show his losses. He's not being like transparent with you that, well, I lost this much on the Desmond Ritter 101 I bought, but I make this on this card, but I lost this on this. Right. Stop taking a victory lap. Just do your content that you do, and don't do the look at you guys said that I'm not any good at this and I made money on this one card. Like, but you lost on other ones. You're not talking about those. It just this is best not done. I don't know why you have to go and make a video. Yeah, but he is like it. These people are so freaking worried about their image in the hobby and being this person in a certain spot in the hobby that they have to do this stuff and make really dumb decisions because I have to make a video claiming how smart I am, even though I have other, like, just stop. Like, that's the crap in this hobby that I cannot stand. We're all collecting cards with pictures of men on them. Like,
sometimes
really?
Women.
Walk outside of the bubble and see where that matters to people. You're not a big deal. Even if you have 50,000 or 100,000 or 200,000 subscribers, who cares? The big subscriber, like big channels on YouTube have millions and millions and millions of subscribers. You're a big fish in a small pond, and just stop with this crap. It just goes right through me.
The thing I look at is, like, if we don't deal in cards of this magnitude, the three of us, at all, but if we did and this happened, like, one of us would say as a joke, oh, I just made $114,000 on it, or $144,000 on it, or whatever. But
Hoodies
then the other
on
two,
EP.
yeah, but then the other two would not let they would just like dig right in, and they would go along right along.
Oh
with
yeah,
it,
we'd make
and
fun of
be like-
you the
and we'd be
entire.
right. So, I mean,
yeah.
there would be it would be so. I mean, that's how it should be handled. That, as a joke. If you're gonna bring that something like that up, it's a joke. It's not a really win, but it'll be a funny joke.
And to your point, Mike, I started watching this guy. His name's Greg. It's called How to Drink. He has 1.5 million subscribers. Real, by the way, if you like watching cocktail content, definitely How to Drink. But he has 1.5 million subscribers. He goes into restaurants and like sneaks, like, because he wants to make a better version of like some bullshit Applebee's mixed drink, right? So he'll like sneak in a cooler and dump it in. If people actually knew who he was, he probably couldn't get away with that. He has 1.5 million subscribers, and he can go into a bar and pour a drink into a cooler on the DL, and no one's saying, "Oh my God, it's Greg from How to Drink." Geoff Wilson has a couple 100,000 subscribers. I guarantee you he was walking around at the National, and I think we even said this before, and there were probably old school collectors and dealers going, "Who is this D-bag walking around with a full camera crew for no reason?" Like, I think people need to step back a little bit and realize they're not as important in this hobby as they really. I mean, has he gotten people send him books? I like, come on. I should get this autographed by Geoff Wilson.
We should probably all send him one of his own books.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure that's already been done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, Joe, I sent this to you because I thought you might be interested, and I think you would be great for the job. But Fanatics has a job listing for a product manager for entertainment cards. They specifically list movies, TVs, music, and beyond. I've been yelling for how long for Topps to start making stuff, and yes, we've been railing on them a little bit today, but this is a great direction. You want to grow the hobby, get new people into the hobby, collecting new things. It doesn't all have to be the sports franchises that you have. You can do new things and get new collectors to buy those new things. Honestly, Joe, you would be fantastic at this. Your thoughts on Marvel cards, just off the charts. But this is cool, and I'm going to give my props. I hope that something comes out of this, but it looks like they're going to be getting into more entertainment sets. Like, how many TV shows are there out there that could use a card set?
Oh my gosh,
that nobody's making one of.
Yeah, and Rittenhouse, who we love, go watch our Steve Cherndorf interview. It's a smaller company, so they're not going to have like the wherewithal that a Fanatics would to make some of these sets. Like, how cool would a boys set be? Like something like that. Like something like that would be so cool. My takeaway from this listing, though, is I guess Brian Gray is not going to work for Fanatics. Like, this feels like a job that was tailor made, written for him. Has he come out with his big changing the hobby?
I haven't seen it yet.
First ballot Hall of Fame situation thing. No. But yeah, this sounds like something that was written for him, and then they're like, "Oh, but we'd have to hire Brian Gray." So they were like, "We better just put this out into the universe and let some other people apply for it." But yeah, it is. I agree with you, Mike. I mean, they really need to, and beyond we know is the Marvel stuff, right? Like, we can just they released. We're not going to talk about it on the pod today, but they released the Topps Chrome in the UK, and we know it's a different thing, and there's different license stuff, but people seem to like it. So we'll see if that's going to translate to stuff over here. But yeah, that's definitely the and beyond. But just grow the hobby base so you can milk them for more money.
All right. Yeah. I mean, that kind of threw me off a little bit. Anyhow, I feel like this is Topps has done. We've talked about a lot of their mistakes, but they've also done a lot of several things that I'm happy about since they've got into it. They got we talked about the MVP buyback. They got the rookie patches, that sort of stuff. And this thing that I'm most excited about for this is Star Wars cards, because they've been on cruise control with Star Wars for a long time. They've released the Chrome, the regular, the Chrome, the Chrome Black, the Chrome Sonic, all the sort of stuff, the finest, which is again just images from the TV shows and stuff, with just cut out with the finest backgrounds and everything. And I feel like if they could get somebody in there that cares about Star Wars and actually wants to do something and kind of innovate and do something really cool with Star Wars, that would get me real excited because I'm all the modern Star Wars stuff just really isn't that exciting to me. So I'm excited about that. I hope they get somebody in there that has some Star Wars juice.
Call Joe. Tell him to call Joe.
Yeah.
I don't have Star Wars juice,
fan.
but
I
Star
Wars fan.
No, that's not. Nope, that's not it. But what I will say is,
didn't you just drop a Star Wars video
on
yesterday?
Sunday? You had a Star Wars video.
Yeah.
Sunday. Yeah. Go watch that Star Wars video.
I hate both of you, but specifically EP for this one. Joking aside, though, you're right about the cruise control thing with Star Wars, and the problem that they have is the problem that I'm worried about is they're going to do the same thing with Marvel. So hopefully someone who comes in will actually watch our video that we dropped a couple of weeks ago, because a lot of the stuff we talked about that they could do with the Marvel license, you could translate that to Star Wars super easy. So basically follow the Upper Deck model. I'm sure they will, because Fanatics loves to steal other people's thoughts. So throw some of that Upper Deck model into your products where you're reaching back to your old sports stuff and using it as IP for your non-sports stuff. And I think it would bridge that make that bridge between, sports collectors and non-sports collectors, because you have those carryovers like the jambalayas that Fleer Ultra does.
Topps Fanatics has such a rich history of products and sets and all that sort of stuff, and they could just do so much with that. Like if you I don't know if they've ever done it, but like think about like the 1952 Topps set, but instead make it Star Wars characters. So but they're drawn on there instead of, you know what I mean? Like they feel like there are so many things they could do, so much potential, but instead they're just slapping photos from the series on there. The same thing in like so Marvel cards could do the same thing in 52 Topps. Like there's so much there that they could work with. Literally, they go back to that very first set and do something. And there's just so much that it's just it's a shame that it's such a waste.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm gonna sneak one more little topic in here quick. I saw on X somebody was saying that the retail versions of Topps Chrome basketball don't have any numbered parallels in them. I was like, okay, I'm not sure if this was right, but I'll go on YouTube and I'll watch some breaks. I watched 3 different breaks, and one of them was like one was a 3 blasters, one was a blaster and a mega, and the other was 4 mega boxes, and none of them had numbered cards in them. You can pull autographs that are numbered, but there are no numbered cards of the base. And let me just say one more time, these cards are awful. The lack of some of they show the Victor Wembanyama card is good. They put effort into 1 or 2 players that would sell it, and the rest they just didn't care. Like I forget, there's one card in particular. The guy, it's just a straight on shot of his jersey with absolutely nothing but a number on it, and there are so many of those photos in the set. They put a little bit of effort in to try to make you want this because of Victor Wembanyama, but all the other stuff is just it's worse than Leaf, honestly. It's just the fact that people are spending money on this still blows my mind. And if you're not buying the hobby box, you're not even going to get numbered cards now. It's just what a screw job to the collectors. A money grab like none other. One of the biggest money grabs in this hobby in quite some time.
And you know what? And I'm going to give props again to EP for his consistency on this issue, because it feels like he's the only one in the hobby that has been consistent. Bullshit comments on our last video aside, it is nice that someone is going to say the same thing year after year about unlicensed cards. And you're right, Mike. They look like crap. I was watching breaks of the Topps stuff. The Topps football stuff. You're right. Leaf cards look better. Yeah. And what autographs did I send you pictures of, guys? Out of hobby, which were $500 a box, right?
I think it was a Brad
Jim
Johnson.
Everett. Jim Everett has autographs in a $500 a box Topps unlicensed product. If Panini did that, another thing EP's consistent about, if Panini did that, EP would be losing his mind. So
I'm losing my mind about this. So
I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. But of course, a Fanatics fanboy would be like, man, I love that they have the first autograph checklist. Okay, people. Yeah. money grab completely. And they're just going to make, what's going to happen next year. They're going to make a set when they have the licenses. It's going to be the same exact set, and they're just going to take the airbrush off, and it's going to be another money grab, because that's what Fanatics does.
The thing that's so upsetting to me about this is if they only put effort into one or two cards, like this is the return of Topps Chrome, the return of like the product that everybody's excited about getting back in the hobby. And so why take some time with this? Like, make people excited about this. Instead, like you guys said, it's a cash grab. They just put it out there and said, just stamp Topps Chrome on garbage and said, here, you take it.
You couldn't wait a year to do this product. Right. That's my other thing. You couldn't wait 1 year. You're doing so well. I mean, again, just constant money grabs left and right with the gambling aspect and everything. You're doing so well. You really needed to milk the collectors on a product like this. You couldn't wait a year. That's why I'm so worried about the Marvel stuff. They're not going to wait. Let's step back. Let's reflect. Let's make sure we do a great inaugural Marvel set. Nope, they're going to it might be the same stuff they just sent out in the UK, and they're just put the US, put US prices on it. I like it. They don't care about how these cards come out. They just want to shove it down your throat. People will buy it, and they just keep making money. If they were a good company, they would have waited a year and gave us an actual good Topps Chrome licensed product. But they can't. They just can't help themselves on hosing people over.
Yeah, they spent a lot of money to get the licenses, so they're just going to continue to do that. And since you brought it up, Joe, I'm going to look right into the camera here. Let me just explain something. Stop bringing up the Joe Montana and the Walter Payton rookie cards. If you can't tell that there's a difference between cards made like 40 years ago when that was your only option to have a rookie card, and now when you have a multitude of other options, that's on you. You're being willfully ignorant about that. Just for the sake of being that. My question is to everybody out there who brings up Walter Payton or brings up Joe Montana. If you had the option to have a Joe Montana or Walter Payton rookie card in the actual uniform, do you think you'd want the one that isn't? You might say, well, yeah, just because you want to be contrarian, but you don't. You want the one in the actual uniform.
The real one.
The real one.
Yeah, exactly. You want the real one. If you have an option, for sure. You're a
difference
liar
between having an option and not having an option. Like, why is this even something people bring up?
Oh,
it's so dumb.
It is really, really dumb.
Okay, well,
no first pitches for us, guys.
No, never. So, probably lost subscribers too, but I had to get that out. Speaking of dumb, I have another dumb game for you guys to play.
Yes.
This week, right? We got a couple of minutes left. I saw there was a user on X who, we all know Greg Morris cards on eBay, right? GM cards. They sell tons of stuff. They put the grade of the card in the listing for every card that they sell. This person bought 47 different vintage cards from Greg Morris cards on eBay, and he got them all graded with PSA. And I have the results here. So he bought 47 cards that were listed as near mint by Greg Morris cards. So we're going to try to guess how many of them came in at each of the PSA grades. So you have 47. Let's start with the min size. What is your guess on how many came back that they didn't meet the min size requirement?
Number or percentage, Mike?
Number.
Out of 47, I'm going to say 6.
I'm going to say 3.
It was 7.
Oh.
Yeah, I was going to say 7 at first. But I still won. But I was going to say 7 at first.
Okay. So we have 40 cards left. How many do you think came back a PSA 5? Now, these were listed as near mint, so that would be PSA 8. So how many do you think came back a 5 out of the 40 remaining?
Oh, is near mint? So near mint is 7, right? And then near mint is 8. Okay. PSA 5. What's the? I'm going to say 12.
I've got this person. The person doing the rating is not me, so I'm gonna. Joe's probably close to correct.
Just
15.
Just give us a number.
15.
15. No, it's only one came back up.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right.
So how many do you think? There are 39 remaining.
Okay.
How many do you think came back a 6?
EP, you go first this time.
6. 6 sixes.
You're gonna go 6. I'm gonna go 9.
It was 8.
But you went over.
Okay.
So you lose.
No, but this
So
is not
we
Price is
have-
Right, please.
31 left.
Okay.
How many do you think came back a 6.5?
Ugh.
Oh, I'm gonna go. Boy,
The unicorn.
PSA does not use that half grade, so I'm gonna say
Don't.
1.
Can I also say 1?
Yes, you can.
1.
It was, in fact, 1. Okay, out of the 30 remaining cards, how many came back a near mint 7?
12. I'm gonna go back to my well and go 12.
I will say 6.
It was 15
Jeez.
came back.
That's a lot.
Yes, it is. We're down to only 15 cards left. How many do you think came back the accurate grade of PSA 8?
Ugh.
15 cards.
I'm gonna
left.
say 14.
20.
20 out of the 15 that are remaining came back.
Oh, where only 15 left?
That's why
Okay.
I keep saying how many are left.
12.
It was actually 13.
13, right in the middle, EP. Okay.
So we have 2 left. Your guess is between 8.5, 9, and 10. We're just
Well,
gonna
you said
bump
8.5?
Sure, I said 8.5.
I'm gonna say 1 8.5 and 1 9.
I'll say just be different. 1 9 and 1 10.
It was 1 8.5 and 1 9.
Jeez,
So,
8.5.
yeah.
Using a half grade, that's old for PSA.
You sent 47 cards in and get 2 half grades?
You
That's
got
crazy.
2 half grades. That's pretty impressive.
That
I
is
think.
that is
But-
pretty. That is pretty
So
wild.
you had 1, 2. He had 15 of the 47. This was the point the poster was making, that only 15 of the 47 came back the grade that Greg Morris cards had them. Although I would argue having the greatest 7, if you're buying a raw card near mint,
Raw vintage
I think it's
card.
30 out of 40s. Like, the poster was kind of like dunking on them with this, saying like they inaccurately do it. But I think for the variance, there is so little between a 7 and 8. I think 30 out of the 47 being that is not a bad call. Plus, again, it's an opinion. One guy's opinion compared to somebody who, let's be real, may not have been grading cards anywhere near as long's opinion. So
Right.
Right.
That was exactly going to be my point. I mean, just because this poster thinks they dunked, I guarantee you that you send those cards back to PSA, crack them and send them back. Who knows what you're gonna get? I trust. It's like when I say, right. It's like when I say Alico 3, I trust him to grade my cards more than I would trust PSA. I feel the same way about Greg Morris. And I'm curious if the listing said PSA 8, or if it said near mint to mint, or if it said near mint / mint. Because some that leaves that PSA 7 to interpretation that it could be part of that kind of
They
window.
do not say a PSA grade. They usually put like near mint. But again, I personally don't think those numbers are really that far off or that bad, or saying
like if you would have said 12 PSA 3s, then we would have had an issue. But
and on a vintage card, like now his stuff sells for more than a lot of other people's, but I feel like that's for a reason. I don't think you have people coming back because they're buying, raw vintage cards and they're getting them and feeling like, oh, this is nowhere near what I expected. And I give a lot of props to them because we know how people try to sell raw cards on eBay.
Right.
For a place that sells as much as they do, to take the time to put the grades in for the older stuff like that. So at least you have a pretty good idea what you're buying. What more do you really want?
And one last point about this for me. I mean, I think we can all agree that Chris Sewell is probably one of the better people in the hobby. If he's willing to put his name behind Greg Morris,
Right.
and talk about them glowingly and use them as a sponsor. I don't think he would use them as a sponsor if he didn't believe in what they do. So yeah, that's like if it was just some, random person on YouTube saying, "Oh, Greg Moore's card's the best." Chris Sewell's a pretty good guy. I don't think he would try and screw people over.
This was a really cool experiment. I love that somebody did this. Of
Mhm.
course, it ended up being somebody they're looking for a way to try to dunk on a
Maybe
company.
that's my interpretation
so-
of it.
right. I mean,
it sounds correct though.
It
Mike.
sounds like the
I've
hobby.
seen
It sounds like
Twitter.
the hobby,
He
but I do love the idea. Of it.
arguing a little bit with people that were saying, well, 30 out of them were near mint or better. Like, so
Yeah.
it wasn't like clearly trying to dunk on, but it was a kind of quiet dunking, in
Right.
my opinion. But it's just my
Right.
opinion.
A subtle dunk. if you
Very
will.
subtle, yes. All right, guys, we went a little long this week, but I think that was worth it.
It was
you?
worth it.
Definitely.
We're giving you extra content and not charging you any more. So go buy a hoodie. And whoever left that book for
Thank
Joe
you.
Day.
Thank you so much for that.
I need
Bravo.
to know.
Amazing moment.
Comment below. I have 2 guesses, but comment below and buy a hoodie while you're down there.
Buy a hoodie. Absolutely. All right, guys, that was a good chat this week, and I will see you next week. Take care, guys.
See you, boys.
Adios.